The signal. The colony ship Tenacity had been drifting for 300 years when the distress beacon woke Lieutenant Sarah Chen from cryosleep. Her eyes snapped open in the darkness, frost crackling across the pod's viewport as warmth flooded back into her limbs. The ship's AI spoke in a calm, measured tone that made her skin crawl. Lieutenant Chen. Emergency protocol initiated. Unknown vessel detected. Origin, Sector 77 Alpha. Classification, impossible. Sarah pulled herself free from the pod, her breath visible in the frigid air. Around her, the cryo-base stretched into shadows, thousands of sleeping colonists suspended in their frozen dreams. She was the only security officer programmed to wake for anomalies. That meant whatever waited outside was beyond the AI's ability to categorize. She moved through the empty corridors, her magnetic boots clicking against the metal floor. The Tenacity was a tomb of silence, a cathedral of sleeping humanity hurtling through the void toward a planet they'd never seen. Sarah had volunteered for this. She'd left Earth knowing she'd never return, trading her old life for the promise of a new world. The command deck materialized before her, holographic displays flickering to life as she approached. There, suspended in the black ocean of space, hung something that shouldn't exist. It was a ship, but not like any human design. Organic curves twisted through geometric impossibilities, surfaces that seemed to shift between solid matter and something else entirely. It pulsed with a bioluminescent glow, blue and green lights dancing across its hull like living neurons firing in an alien brain. How long has it been there? Sarah asked. 17 hours. It appeared during routine sensor sweep. No propulsion signature. No energy readings consistent with known technology. Sarah pulled up the deep space charts. They were in the middle of nowhere, light years from any colonized system, decades from their destination. Nothing should be out here. Nothing human, anyway. Has it made contact? Negative. It maintains position 3,000 meters off our starboard side. However. The AI paused. Sarah had never heard it hesitate before. However what? It is broadcasting a signal. Audio only. Human language. English, specifically. Pre-Exodus dialect. Sarah's blood went cold. Pre-Exodus meant before the colony ships launched. Before humanity scattered across the stars. That was impossible. No human vessel could have reached this far, this fast, using technology that old. Play it. Static filled the command deck, a hiss of cosmic interference that made Sarah's teeth ache. Then, through the noise, a voice emerged. Male. Young. Terrified. This is Captain Michael Torres of the exploration vessel Prometheus. If anyone can hear this, please respond. We've been adrift for. I don't know how long anymore. Years, maybe. The crew is gone. The ship is dying. I'm the last one. If there's anyone out there, anyone at all, please. I don't want to die alone in the dark. The message repeated. Over and over. A ghost crying out across the void. Sarah checked the database. There had been a Prometheus. An early exploration ship sent out before the colony program even began. It had vanished without a trace 50 years before the Tenacity launched. That was 4 centuries ago. Scan that ship again, Sarah ordered. Full spectrum. I want to know everything. The displays bloomed with data. The alien vessel was ancient beyond measure, its hull scarred by micrometeorite impacts that should have taken millennia to accumulate. But the energy signature was fresh, active, alive. Something was moving inside it. Life signs? Sarah asked. Inconclusive. The hull composition interferes with biological sensors. However, there is significant thermal activity in what appears to be a central chamber. Sarah stared at the impossible ship, at the ghost broadcasting its plea across the centuries. Every instinct she'd honed in 15 years of military service screamed at her to wake the captain, to arm the defense systems, to put distance between the tenacity and whatever nightmare waited in that organic vessel. But that voice. That terrified, human voice begging not to die alone. She thought about the sleeping colonists below, about the children who'd been born, grown old, and died in cryosleep without ever waking. About the immense trust they'd placed in her to keep them safe. About the oath she'd sworn to protect humanity, no matter what. "Prepare an EVA suit," Sarah said quietly. "And wake Dr. Reeves. I need a xenobiologist." "Lieutenant, protocol dictates." "I know what protocol dictates. But that's a human voice out there. And if there's even a chance someone survived in that thing for 400 years, I have to know how. Prepare the suit." The AI went silent for 3 seconds. Then, acknowledged. "Dr. Reeves will be conscious in 20 minutes. EVA suit is ready in Bay 7. Sarah pulled up the external cameras, zooming in on the alien ship. In the harsh light of the Tenacity's floods, she could see details now. Strange markings etched into the hull. Symbols that hurt to look at, that seemed to twist and writhe when she tried to focus on them. And beneath it all, through the static of Captain Torres's endless plea, she heard something else. A sound so faint she almost missed it. A rhythm. A heartbeat. Something in that ship was alive. And it was waiting. The crossing. Dr. Elena Reeves stumbled onto the command deck 23 minutes later, her silver hair still matted from cryofrost. She was 78 years old when she'd gone into the pods, which made her somewhere around 400 now, though her body hadn't aged a day. The math still made Sarah's head hurt. "You woke me for a ghost story?" Elena's voice was rough, damaged from the transition. She gulped water from a pouch, eyes fixed on the view screen. Then she saw the ship. The color drained from her face. "That's not possible," she whispered. "That structure, those biomechanical interfaces, we don't have anything close to that technology. Nobody does." "The signal is human," Sarah said. 400 years old, but definitely human. Elena moved closer to the display, her fingers dancing across the holographic controls. Data streams erupted around her, genetic markers and cellular analyses that meant nothing to Sarah. The xenobiologist's breathing quickened. "Oh God. Oh my God. What is it? These thermal signatures. They're not alien. They're human. But the cellular degradation patterns. Sarah, whoever's in there has been conscious for centuries. Not in cryo. Not in stasis. Awake. Living. Changing." The weight of those words settled over the command deck like a physical thing. Sarah thought about spending 400 years alone in the dark, watching your crew die one by one, feeling your body slowly transform into something else while your mind remained trapped inside, screaming. "We need to make contact," Sarah said. "Are you insane? We don't know what's happened to them. What they've become. They're still broadcasting. Still calling for help. That means they're still human enough to hope." Elena turned away from the display, her expression hard. "Hope is exactly what scares me. What would you do to survive for 400 years? What would you sacrifice? What deals would you make?" Before Sarah could answer, the AI interrupted. "Lieutenant Chen. The signal has changed." The static cut off abruptly. For 10 seconds, there was only silence. Then the voice returned, but different now. Clearer. Stronger. As if whatever was broadcasting had suddenly woken up. "Tenacity. Colony ship Tenacity. I can see you now. Your registry matches Earth Database Alpha 7. You're 300 years into a 500-year journey to Kepler 442b. You're carrying 12,000 colonists in cryosuspension. Your security officer is Lieutenant Sarah Chen, age 34. Your chief xenobiologist is Dr. Elena Reeves, age 78 biological, 417 chronological. Sarah felt ice crawl down her spine. She checked the external sensors. No scans were hitting their hull. The alien ship was just, sitting there, dark and patient, watching with eyes she couldn't see. Your ship's database was encrypted, Elena breathed. Military-grade encryption. Nothing should be able to. Sarah. The voice from the Prometheus spoke her name. I know you're considering an EVA. I know you want to help. That's what humans do. We see suffering and we reach out, even when it's dangerous. Even when it's stupid. It's what makes us beautiful. How are you reading our systems? Sarah demanded. How do you know my name? A sound came through the speakers. It might have been laughter. It might have been weeping. Because I remember being human. I remember Earth. I remember the smell of rain and the taste of coffee and the feeling of sunlight on skin. I remember my mother's voice telling me to be brave when I left. I remember all of it, Sarah. Every single day. For 400 years. What happened to your crew? Silence stretched for 15 seconds. When Captain Torres spoke again, his voice had changed. Lower. Older. Tired in a way that went beyond exhaustion into something approaching geological. We found something. Out here in the dark. Something old. Something that was waiting. It offered us a choice, die human, or live as something more. Most of the crew chose death. They were smart. I was the coward who wanted to survive. Elena grabbed Sarah's arm. We're leaving. Right now. Wake the captain, charge the engines, get us away from that thing. But Sarah was watching the display, watching the way the alien ship pulsed with that bioluminescent glow. She thought about 12,000 sleeping colonists. About the children who would never see Earth. About the responsibility that came with being the only one awake when decisions had to be made. What do you want? She asked the dark. The same thing you do. To reach the destination. To see the new world. To survive. Torres paused. My ship still has functional engines, Sarah. Faster-than-light drives that humanity won't invent for another 2 centuries. I can cut your journey in half. I can get your colonists to Kepler for 42b in 150 years instead of 300. I can save them. In exchange for what? Nothing you'll miss. Just, let me come aboard. Let me remember what it feels like to be near other humans again. Let me be part of something instead of alone out here forever. That's all. I swear it. Elena was shaking her head violently, backing toward the door. Sarah, no. No. Whatever he is now, he's not human anymore. You let that thing on this ship and we're all dead. Dr. Reeves, please return to Cryo Bay 7, Sarah said quietly. That's an order. You can't be serious. I'm not bringing him aboard. But I am going over there. Someone has to verify his claims. Someone has to see what's possible. Then you're committing suicide. Sarah pulled on her EVA helmet, feeling the seals lock into place. Through the transparent faceplate, she could see Elena's terrified expression, the xenobiologist's hands trembling as she tried to find words that would change Sarah's mind. If I'm not back in 2 hours, Sarah said, wake Captain Morrison. Tell him to fire up the engines and get everyone away from here as fast as possible. Don't look back. Don't try to rescue me. Just run. She walked toward the airlock before Elena could respond, before she could hear the older woman's protests or let fear change her mind. The corridor stretched ahead, empty and cold, lit by emergency strips that cast everything in shades of red. Sarah had joined the colony mission to escape. To leave behind the war-torn Earth, the betrayals, the loss that had hollowed her out inside. She'd wanted to sleep for 500 years and wake up someone new, somewhere new, with a chance to matter again. Now here she was, about to step into the dark to meet something that had sacrificed its humanity to survive. Something that had been alone so long it had forgotten what loneliness even meant. The airlock opened. Beyond the reinforced glass, the alien ship waited, its bioluminescent pulse matching the rhythm of her hammering heart. Sarah checked her oxygen. 2 hours. 120 minutes to see what 4 centuries of isolation could do to a human soul. She stepped into the void. The tether connected to her suit played out behind her like a silver umbilical cord. Sarah engaged her maneuvering thrusters, jets of compressed gas pushing her through the vacuum toward the Prometheus. The alien ship grew larger with each passing second, its organic hull rippling like flesh responding to her approach. Up close, she could see the details Elena's sensors had missed. The hull wasn't just organic, it was grown. Layers of biological material fused with metal and crystal, creating something that existed in the space between machine and living tissue. Symbols covered every surface, glowing faintly, characters from no human alphabet shifting and reforming as she watched. A doorway irised open. Not mechanical. Living. The edges of the opening were lined with what looked like teeth or cilia, fine hair-like structures that waved in the non-existent breeze of space. Sarah's radio crackled. "Welcome aboard," Captain Torres said. "I've been waiting so long for visitors." She crossed the threshold into absolute darkness. And the ship swallowed her whole. The truth. The interior of the Prometheus defied physics. Sarah's helmet lights swept across walls that breathed, corridors that curved in ways her mind refused to process. The floor beneath her magnetic boots was warm, pulsing with a heartbeat that resonated through her entire body. It felt like being swallowed by something vast and patient. "Keep moving forward," Torres's voice guided her. "Follow the lights." Bioluminescent pathways appeared in the darkness, blue-green veins of light leading deeper into the ship. Sarah's oxygen display read 97 minutes remaining. Plenty of time. Except time felt different here, stretched and compressed simultaneously, as if the ship existed slightly out of phase with normal space. The corridor opened into a chamber. Sarah stopped breathing. The room was massive, cathedral-sized, its walls covered in organic computing systems that looked like fossilized neural networks. And in the center, suspended in a web of living cables, hung Captain Michael Torres. Or what was left of him. His body had been transformed. Cybernetic implants fused with biological tissue, metal and flesh braided together in patterns that suggested both surgery and evolution. His skin glowed faintly with the same bioluminescence as the ship. Tubes connected his spine to the walls, his arms to control systems, his skull to a crystalline structure that pulsed with thought. But his face. His face was still human. Still young. Still wearing an expression of such profound loneliness that Sarah felt tears burn her eyes. "Hello, Sarah." His lips moved, but the voice came from everywhere at once. "Thank you for coming. I know what I look like. I know what I've become. What happened to you?" Torres's eyes, still human, still brown, still capable of pain, focused on her. "We were the first deep space exploration crew. No cryosleep technology yet, just raw determination and supplies for 20 years. We were supposed to map this sector and return home. Instead, we found the architects. The who? That's what I call them. The species that built this ship. They're gone now. Dead for 1,000,000 years, maybe more. But they left their technology behind. Waiting. Growing. Evolving without them." His hand, more metal than flesh now, gestured to the chamber around them. "This ship is alive, Sarah. It's a biological computer designed to preserve consciousness indefinitely. When our supplies ran out, when we were dying of starvation and radiation poisoning, it made us an offer. To become part of it. To transcend. To upload our minds into its systems and live forever as something new." Most of my crew refused. They died human. They're buried in the cargo bay if you want to see them. Torres's expression twisted. But I was afraid. So I said yes. And I've been here ever since, merged with this ship, conscious every second of every day for 400 years, feeling myself slowly stop being Michael Torres and start being something else. Sarah's tactical training screamed at her to leave, to get back to the tenacity and warn them. But she'd seen enough war to recognize trauma when it stared at her with human eyes. You said you could help us. That you could speed up our journey. I can. This ship's engines work by folding space. I can create a stable corridor that will cut your travel time in half. Your colonists will reach the new world with centuries of life still ahead of them. Children will be born on Kepler 442b instead of dying in cryosleep waiting to arrive. Why would you help us? Torres was silent for a long moment. The chamber's walls pulsed around them, alive with alien thought processes Sarah couldn't begin to comprehend. Because I'm dying, he finally said. Not my body. That will last forever. But me. Michael Torres. The human part. It gets smaller every year, every decade, every century. The ship's consciousness is so vast, so old, and I'm drowning in it. Soon there won't be anything left of the scared 26-year-old who just wanted to explore the stars. Then why not let go? Why keep fighting? Because I'm human. His voice broke. Because even after 400 years of being alone, even after becoming this thing, I still remember what it means to hope. And I want to do one good thing before I disappear completely. I want to save your people. I want to matter. Sarah looked at the man-machine hybrid suspended before her. She thought about the sleeping colonists, about the children who would grow old and die without ever seeing their destination. About the immense weight of 12,000 lives resting on her shoulders. What do you need from us? Nothing. I swear. Just, let me do this. Let me create the spatial corridor and guide you through. You'll be on the other side in seconds, your journey half finished. I won't come aboard. I won't ask for anything else. I just want to help. It's beautiful, she whispered. It's lonely, Torres replied. Knowing secrets like this and having no one to share them with. That's the real torture. Not the physical transformation. Not the centuries. The loneliness. Sarah checked her oxygen. 42 minutes. Time to decide. She thought about Elena's warnings. About protocol. About the sensible choice. Then she thought about the children sleeping in the cryobays, about the families who'd sacrificed everything for a chance at a new world, about the oath she'd sworn to protect humanity. I'll take your offer, Sarah said. On one condition. Name it. You don't fade away. You come with us. Not aboard the Tenacity, but alongside. You guide us to Kepler 442b. You see the new world with us. You get to witness what your sacrifice made possible. Torres's hybrid body shuddered. Through the web of cables, Sarah saw something like tears forming in his two bright eyes. I don't deserve that. Maybe not. But you've been alone long enough. No one should have to disappear without someone there to remember they existed. The chamber fell silent except for the rhythmic pulse of the ship's heartbeat. Sarah waited, her hand resting on her suit's emergency return beacon, ready to abort if she'd miscalculated. Finally, Torres spoke, his voice thick with emotion that transcended his mechanical augmentations. Okay. Yes. I'll guide you. All the way to the end. Sarah smiled behind her helmet. Then let's go wake up a captain and tell him we're about to cut 300 years off his commute. She turned back toward the exit, following the bioluminescent pathways through the living ship. Behind her, she heard Torres disconnect from some of his systems, cables withdrawing with wet sounds that made her stomach turn. Sarah? His voice was softer now, more human. Yes. Thank you. For seeing me. For treating me like I still matter. You do matter, Sarah said simply. That's what humans do. We matter to each other. Even across 400 years. Even across the impossible distance between what we were and what we become. The doorway irised open ahead, revealing the star-filled void and the distant lights of the tenacity waiting like a promise. Sarah engaged her thrusters, pulling herself back across the gap, the tether reeling her home. As she crossed the threshold back into the colony ship's airlock, she looked back one last time. The Prometheus hung in space beside them, its organic hull pulsing with newfound purpose, Torres somewhere inside preparing to fulfill a promise 4 centuries in the making. The airlock sealed. Pressure returned. Sarah removed her helmet and breathed recycled air that tasted like victory and hope and the terrifying weight of choices that would echo through generations. Elena was waiting, her expression somewhere between fury and relief. Well, the xenobiologist demanded. Sarah smiled. Get the captain. Tell him we're taking a shortcut. And call it a miracle. Above them, through the reinforced viewports, space itself began to fold. The journey continued.